Happy Friday, everybody. It's Friday the 13th, September 13th. Oh no. Spooky, right? Friday the 13th. And we're going to start off by looking at the QQQ as usual. So, just on a day to day basis, things have improved very, very, very nicely over the past week, right? You can see the past 5 trading days or past 4 trading days right here started below everything. And then now, yesterday, it closed above everything on my screen. And the last one was the 50-day moving average, and that was at 470.80. So that'll be the support for the rest of today. I want it to close above that level, right? I want it to close above 470.80 for that. And we'll look at some weekly closes here since today is Friday and today is the last trading day of the week. And it looks like it has the possibility, the potential, the probability of closing above everything too. So 462 is way down there unless things like really just sell off today. It looks like there's going to be closing above all of that. Yeah, tridscophobia. Yes, I guess that's correct. Yeah, I'll do a Bitcoin update too. But yeah, so QQQ is looking fantastic for a weekly candle close, but nonetheless, still is making lower highs. So kind of want to go next week above this high here, maybe like 485.54, just to get that uptrend back intact. Otherwise, it could just trend lower still. So still in a temporary downtrend on a short term frame or a short time frame, but the high time frame still very bullish. Fear the number 13. Hey, it's in my title on X, Matt Hughes 13. So I like it. Let's go for a good day, Matt. Yes, SPY. So we're going to look at SPY here, and that looks really bullish for a weekly close too. It's coming closer and closer to these levels, these all-time highs, but still it cannot break. So that means it's still stuck in a really tight range of previous all-time high resistance and the support down here. So which way will it break? Will today be the day to go into all-time highs? I don't know. We'll have to stick around and find out. Or will it be next week? We'll have to find out. But essentially, I'm still cautious because it hasn't broken resistance, right? So we'll have to see the 565.16, this level right here, get broken and have a weekly candle close above it to continue higher. But until then, still a little bit cautious here at resistance. And IWM today looks like the day. Look at that. It's up $2 pre-market. Look at that. IWM. Today's the day to close above the 212.67 right there and become really bullish again, right? It looks like everything just went down to test support, especially on the daily chart, just went down to test the daily support there of the 100-day. And now it's going to open the day above all this daily resistance, guys. This is a really good thing. Look at that gap up, opening above the cloud, above the 50, above the baseline conversion, everything. So that means that maybe that 212 is going to be support now for price to go back up towards the 219s, 220s, and beyond. So IWM has one of the better developments for the day and for the weekly candle close here. So this is looking really good to close the week above all resistance levels. So all indices closing above resistance levels looks good to me. All right, Gatsby. Yeah, I'll do GME. I think there is a BTC update somebody wanted. So Bitcoin, there's no change for me. It's just stuck, right? People can be excited about it. I'm happy it held resistance or held support here, right? The 50 and the top of the cloud. And I'm really happy that it finally back tested the cloud for the first time ever, right? But I'm not going to get super excited until it's doing what like IWM is doing. It's going above its baseline and conversion line resistance on a week-to-week basis. So there's still 2 days left for the weekly candle close. So there is a possibility for it to continue higher. throughout the weekend, right? So it's not out of the woods yet completely, but there is a possibility to get above that resistance. But I'm still just thinking it's going to be range bound for maybe another like week, 2 or months or so before it's ready to go higher and higher. So still same thing. High time frame, it's making lower highs consistently. So I really needed to break above certain levels to get more and more bullish. So to me, it's just still stuck in a range until it gets back above at least 61,167. So GME update. Yeah, we'll go to here for my GME update. So GME pre-market, yeah, essentially what really happened is it just back tested support during that whole thing because it already lost that angle of support there. So now what GME is doing, it went down to retest the cloud and the 100 week moving average, and it held a support. So that was your opportunity when it was below 20 bucks. That was it, right? And now it's going back a little bit. It's basically flat pre-market, but it's also stuck closer to support than it is resistance. But yeah, earnings, it was right at resistance there, and then it tried to break through. So it didn't, right? But now it's just back at support and in that range. So no momentum at all, but at least support is still holding. But if enough time passes, it'll eventually be under the cloud in November. So it'll have to make a move soon to go up and to avoid going under the cloud if it's going to do so. So got to keep our eyes open for that. But this is looking like it's just in a range and it's just holding support. Good morning. Link is going nuts, and it might be the news on the collab. Well, the Link chart has been also doing better and better day after day before any kind of news, right? So I was doing my updates on that. Let's see, Binance. Yeah. So the update that I kept on doing on Patreon is I mentioned this level right here that I was holding, the $10 level. Like I had these fibs on here too the whole time, the $8, and I'm like, maybe if it doesn't hold this level, it'll go down here, but it held that level. And so it doesn't really matter about that 100 weeks. So it's not really going nuts per se, but it is recovering, right? It's recovering from that base. And that base is really from back in 2020. It kind of held as a big support zone there, right there with the bottom of the arc too. So that's why I kind of drew that line there. And yeah, it held perfectly. And now it's having the possibility to go back above that 100 week moving average. And that's 1071. So is it going nuts? I mean, not really, but it is holding support nicely. Let's see. Good morning, guys. Let's see. EOS. Yeah, we can look at EOS here. So it's going closer and closer to my level up here, 290. I think that's going to be kind of a big zone, right? Not only is it my orange level, but it's also like a previous zone, right? A previous resistance zone right there, right? So I think it's going to run into some challenges soon. The 290 up to the top of the cloud for the Ichimoku. Yeah, it's not pulling up for some reason. But yeah, the top of the cloud is really around 320. I don't know why TradingView is having issues right now. There's an exclamation there for some reason. Anyways, but yeah, it's the top of the cloud and it's like 320 and the 290 zone. So this zone right here is going to be a lot of resistance before it breaks out. And we'll take an ENVX. ENVX. I think I remember this one that I don't really care about it. Yeah, it's basically this kind of chart is in kind of like a perpetual downtrend, really. If you think about it, it is kind of building a base, really. It's not making lower lows except for this one right here, but it's just sideways. It has no momentum at all. And for me, for a chart that just looks like for years is just going up, down, like a wave, right? Maybe it'll break above one day, maybe not, but it's just speculating at this point. And since it's really below all the indicators, it's kind of a no for me. I would want to see it stay above the cloud. Like so far, it can never stay above the cloud. It just goes up and fails, goes up and fails. So if it ever builds a base on top of the cloud and then goes higher, then I'll have a different story. But until then, it's just kind of in a perpetual downtrend. And let's see. Good morning. Yeah, Baba. See, Baba is what I'm talking about. It's trying to break above the cloud, right? It's really trying hard, but so far pre-market, it's getting rejected. So this is what I would like to see ENVX do. Just get up to the cloud, get closer and closer, flip it to a support and go higher. But I mean, so far Baba's not there, so it's still getting rejected. You can see that clearly that it hit the top of the cloud yesterday, and now pre-market it's down, retesting the 100-week moving average. So maybe that 83.65 will be your support for possible continuation next week to get on top. So this is looking better and better, right? As long as this 100-week holds as a support for the weeks to come, then this thing will go higher. It'll be like PayPal, where it finally gets above and just goes up to the 90s, right? So this is in the beginning stages of something probably pretty good, but it's not yet, right? It's still resistance until proven otherwise. And Coinbase Global. Yeah, so Coin is getting blocked by kind of the cloud right now too on a week-to-week basis. So it did close below, but it has the potential to close above. So if it does close back in the cloud, then it just negates everything that happened last week, and then it can start building that base to go higher. So I do expect it to probably close within the cloud this week, today, and then maybe next week has the potential to go up to the 180s again, to the upper resistance level. So yeah, the opportunity is really we're in this zone right here. I don't think it'll go lower, but if it did, I think 140s would be like low 140s would be a great opportunity. Just like looking to the left right here, this zone. Yeah, don't think it needs to go back down to the 120s at all. And Upstart, UPST. Upstart, yeah, I've been talking about this for a while now. So I think I did a live stream when it was like right here. I'm like, yeah, it's at resistance. And sure enough, it went back down to test support. And now it's at that support and it held, right? The 33.16 held perfectly, even wicked through down to the 32s. This is looking good for a breakout back test for possible continuation higher towards resistance again. So just in that range. It's just in a trading range and nothing bearish anymore about it. Since we had this bullish engulfing candle up 52% for the week. Yeah, there's a lot of requests here. Let's see. Path. UI path. I think I talked about this one maybe yesterday or a couple days ago. But yeah, the bottom line here is it's bearish, but it's holding like this level here. So that level maybe a little bit higher, maybe lower, right? That zone, it's holding it as a base. So as long as $11 doesn't really break below, it has the potential to go higher, but it's still getting blocked by the 1222 right there. So it's a bearish chart, but has potential to be the bottom, right? That's basically the moral of this story right here. Poet Technologies. So Poet's yeah, better and better, right? It's back above to where all these levels were back in 2018. And it's looking like it kind of wants to go test the top of the cloud soon again, right? It's Top of the cloud sits around 331. So it broke out, got rejected, retested the baseline, kind of held as support. So now it's working its way back up, but still, it's still stuck, right? It still is not really optimistic yet until it breaks the cloud. So always cautious at resistance, and currently it's pretty close to resistance, but it is also pretty close to support too. So it's just stuck in a range, and I'll get more bullish on it if it gets above the cloud around 330 or higher. Yeah, APPL. You mean AA Apple or appliances? Yeah. You mean AAPL? I'm not sure which one you mean. Apple, maybe, but I'll do AMD since that one is there. And AMD, yeah, still is stuck. But what I'm really looking at for AMD is the monthly chart here. And this is all that matters. 140.94 baseline, right? Look at that. So many months in a row. 1, 2, 3, 3 months in a row. It's just broke through the baseline and closed above. So if that trend continues, then that'll go higher, right? So it looks like we can ignore other time frames and just focus on the monthly Ichimoku, and it's holding its baseline support for 3 months in a row now. And this is looking really, really good for a possible continuation higher. I know I was mentioning this to my Patreon members that maybe 110 wanted to get tested, but if this holds, then that kind of might just be hopium down there to get down there. But it's just holding support, and if it continues, then yeah, it'll go back up towards the higher levels again. So this high time frame market structure still looks very good when you zoom out, like breakout, back test, breakout, back test, right? And it already did touch the cloud back here in November of 2022. So maybe it's not necessary to go back down there. So AMD, all you got to pay attention to for the whole month is 140.94, just closing above that. And okay, it's Tesla time. Let's go take a look at Tesla. So no change for Tesla on the weekly chart. No change at all, right? Or sorry, the monthly chart. No change on the monthly chart for Tesla, right? It's still in that range where support's 213 and resistance is still the high 230s. But today on the weekly chart, we want it to close above the 235, right? Is that going to happen today? Is it going to close above the 235.27? I don't know. But either way, if it closes above the cloud, then that is a good first step. So that cloud sits at 225.93. So just close above that, and I think the base can be built to go higher and higher. So it's not really necessary to close above that 235 today, but it would be great if it did. So we'll see. Keep an eye on that. Pick one, Intel, Tesla, or NVIDIA. It'd be Tesla, of course, because NVIDIA already had a gigantic run, right? And Tesla has not. So why would I buy something that already had a gigantic run compared to something that is just beginning, right? So it'd be Tesla all the way, but still NVIDIA can go higher, and I still like it, right? But for more exponential gains, I think the Tesla chart is set up for that perfectly. Good morning. Yeah. Let's see. I think I saw some altcoins, right? Maybe there's somebody was talking about MATIC for crypto. Yeah, they just had like a merger or something. So MATIC, the thing I see the most about MATIC is it's holding levels here. It held these levels, right? Support, support, support. And that looks like a bottom to me, right? As long as price doesn't go below that 37, it's a bottom, right? And the bottom can mean that price could possibly go higher and higher and higher. And will it do it anytime soon? Probably not, because it's approaching its first resistance level there at 46.46. So yeah, even though there's a good 18% candle, that's because it was the bottom, right? All you got to do is draw a line and see it was the bottom. So that's why you're seeing a positive reaction, but the chart is not bullish. The chart is definitely not bullish. And if it gets above there, then the next resistance is going to be right here, right down here. A previous support flipping to resistance, right? It's going to be in this zone. So yeah, chart is not bullish at all, but it was clear that was a bottom. And the next one, SYN. Synapse. Yeah, that one had a bottom too. That's why you saw that reaction, right? A lot of charts had bottoms recently, and people were panicking that it's going to go lower, but usually you should always be bullish at support, not bearish, right? So bullish at support, and sure enough, it went up 100%, right? 100% weekly candle, and then it went back below. So it's a breakout and a back test, and now it's just stuck. So yeah, the chart is still not bullish, but that was a bottom. That's why you saw that 100% weekly candle. So this is why you should be bullish at support and not bearish. So NVIDIA at resistance around 120 now. Yeah, 121, 120. That's my resistance target for NVIDIA. And it's at 119.14. So really what I'm looking at is just close the week above these levels. That's fine. Stay above 111. But yeah, it can go up to 120, 121, 122. That's fine, right? It still doesn't change anything because to me, it is still making lower highs right here, lower high, and no matter where it goes, 121, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, like that's still a lower high, and nothing will change my opinion about it just consolidating in this range until it breaks a weekly candle above that 131.26 level right there. So that would be the confirmation to me of a higher high if a weekly candle closed above it. But until then, it'll just be another lower high for probably price to come back down to test a support zone, 108. So we'll see. We'll see if it can make a higher high sometime soon. Yeah, see you tomorrow for Saturday. Thanks, Tesla Tracker. And Nike. So Nike, where is that? 78. Yeah, it's doing what it should be doing and just getting rejected, right? This is not a good chart. Even on the monthly chart, still not good. But what did it do? It went back up to, on a monthly basis, it went back up to resistance. Like that was an obvious place. If you bought down here, that was an obvious place to take profits because it was a previous support on a monthly time frame. Breakout, it broke below it, went up to back test it and confirm it as resistance, right? You don't need any other indicators to tell you that. You can see it clearly on the monthly chart. So yeah, I did Coinbase already, no problem. Yeah, so there's 6 minutes left. Oh, I missed one. MU. Micron Technology. So Micron is having a trouble since it broke out, right? But high time frame still bullish. So what do I think is going to happen? Well, monthly chart looks like it's possible to go back down to the 76.18 because look at the weekly chart. It's currently holding that, right? But if next week it opens below the cloud, then it has the possibility to go down to the 70s, right? To that 200-week moving average down there, which is also pretty close to the 50-week moving average, or sorry, 50-month moving average down here. So got to just watch how it closes this week, and more importantly, see where it opens and closes next week. Because if the top of the cloud or the bottom of the cloud becomes resistance, it's going to go down towards these lower levels, maybe 80, maybe 77, maybe 76. So, and I don't think that's necessarily bad for anything because the high time frame is still pretty bullish. It's just doing kind of like a breakout back test right now, finding its new higher low. That's all it's doing. So be prepared for 70s if the candle next week opens below the cloud. Oh, let's see here. More requests. We got 5 minutes. Let's see here. Disney, Palantir. Yeah, what's Palantir at? Yeah, Palantir 34.96. Nothing's changed for Palantir. I want it to close above that angle, yeah. But I think still 36 is going to happen before it goes lower. So I still think Palantir is going to trend up from there. And Disney. Yeah, let's check the monthly chart. Okay. Yeah, Disney hit support. Right. 87.10 was the 200-month moving average, and it held here and is holding again. So yeah, it's at support, $87. Anything on a monthly chart closer to support than it is resistance, then you can't really be too bearish on it. So it looks like, yeah, support. MBLY. Ooh, that's a terrible chart. Yeah. Yeah, that's a no for me, right? That's a no. Does it have potential to go back up to the 18s? Of course it does, but that's just gambling, really. It even has potential to go back to this level here, right up here, the previous support, right? 25s. It has that potential too. But it's a falling knife, and I'd never touch falling knives because it's a gamble. It's a gamble, gamble, gamble. ADBE. Adobe big sell-off? Really? Yeah, pre-market 531. Yeah, I don't know if that's really that big. I mean, percentage-wise, I guess, right? But it's kind of normal because look at the V it had. Just in a like from July to here, it did that whole range, right? So I mean, this is kind of normal for stocks now, just to go up and down this much in a matter of weeks or months, right? But if it opens up in this range around 530, it looks like it'll just be stuck under maybe 550, and then the true support could be around 510, maybe even down to the 480s. So I mean, that's just a normal range. And if you can look where it was back here in June, held the 100, it just broke out and back tested here, then it broke out again, so it could back test here again, right? 510s down to 480s. So it's kind of a normal thing to do for stocks these days, which is kind of weird to say, but yeah, it's still high time frame, pretty bullish. It's just looking for consolidation before it can really break out. And it looks like it wasn't ready to go higher in the cloud or above the cloud, so it came back down within the cloud. So snow looks ready to go back up. Oh God, snowflake, huh? Snowflake. Does it look ready to go back up? Does it really? Oh God, I don't know. Let's just draw a line here. Can't get above this high or this previous support. Doesn't look ready to me, right? And even if it got above that, then you got this support right here from these candles, and that's at what, 123, 124. So it does not look to me that it wants to go back up. Now, if it gets back on top of that 124, then I'd be like, okay, maybe it wants to go back up now. But being what, like 113, I don't know. Yeah, it just doesn't look that good to me. And the market is open here. We'll take a look at the indices. So yeah, Dow's at 40. SPY at 36, QQQ 80, down 80 cents. IWM looking really, really strong today. Looking like I really want it to close above that 212.67. If it does, good things for the future of IWM. I mean, it's already good things for the future for IWM because this is a nice uptrend here, holding support perfectly. Yeah, ARKK back above 45, right? That's been a volatile one. Palantir 35, SMCI, yeah, everything's doing well. In phase back at 208 or 108. Yeah. And Tesla, again, I just wanted to close above that 226. Yeah, just want to close above 226 today. For a weekly candle close above the cloud. Looks like the miners are flat really today simply because Bitcoin is not really doing anything. And yeah, coins up a little bit. MicroStrategy is up. Hood's up. Yeah, Hood looks really good. I think that'll go higher. Yeah, Roblox looks really good too. I see Elf as one last request here. Eyes, lips, face. Yeah, this one broke, right? It broke support. So it's probably going to go maybe a little bit lower. Let's see if it can get back above that 100-week moving average at 122. But from what I see right here, I see going back to this level. Like a previous resistance here, flip to a support, and maybe retesting that support down at 95. That's what I can see for ELF. And then maybe that'll be a new higher low from here. And there won't be a need to go down to the 75.61. But yeah, everything's doing what it really should be doing as usual. That's what it does, right? So let's pay attention to those levels I mentioned today and see if things can keep going higher and higher for a wonderful, wonderful weekly candle close on Friday the 13th. So I'll see you guys next week.